everybody, welcome back. I'm back with Twin A and Twin B, now wearing one of the outfits I made for them. And this is the more elaborate of the two outfits I made for them. And I love, love, love how these came out. Let me just kind of step back so you can see the whole ensemble together. There we go. They each have a headband on, which has a little flower with a button in the center, which matches the flower on the bodice of their dresses. Hers is pink and hers is purple. It was a variegated yarn, so I pretty much did everything randomly, except I did want the flowers on the front of their dress to match their earrings. And then her tooling is pink and hers is lavender. Each section that I tied tooling in has two different lengths to give it a fuller look. They each have about 20 yards of tooling on them. It took almost the whole roll. And then they have little diaper covers. Yes, Saida was correct. I do not like to see the diapers, so they both have a diaper cover on. And then I was going to make them little slippers, and I had made one, and I tried it on and just didn't like covering their feet. So April so kindly suggested, what about barefoot sandals? And that, thank you, April, was a fabulous idea. So they have barefoot sandals, which each have a flower in the center with a matching button. And then the back of the dress closes with one of that same button. So there are their outfits, and now you can see why their viewing was delayed. This took a bit of time, especially making two of them. And then I did make another outfit, which you will see in their photo shoots, along with the other things I have picked up for them. So there they are, Twin A and Twin B, and as I said, they were an absolute joy to paint. And I will try to quickly explain why their journey was so special to me. As you all know, I am a woman of prayer, and I always have been since I was a little girl. I've always had very childlike faith, and from the time I was a little girl, I wanted twins, twin girls. That was, I wanted 6 children, but within that 6, there had to be a set of twin girls. That was always my prayer. And I believe God answers our prayers usually, well, always, but in one of 3 ways: yes, no, or later. And so as I was getting older and still not married, and that's something I prayed for too from the time I was a little girl, I really wish I would have kept a record, because there were times I felt, even as a child, that I needed to pray really hard that day for my husband. And sometimes I'll hear my husband's stories of things he went through, and I really wish I would have kept a record to know if I had prayed on those days. I'll be like, and it was amazing, or it was a miracle that this or that didn't happen, because it could have. And I just, I've said it enough now, so now it's just kind of a chuckle when he says it, because I often wonder if I had prayed that day. So, but anyway, back to the twins. So I had always wanted twins. But God doesn't always answer our prayers the way we want them, ladies, and that's where we have to just rely on Him and trust in Him. And so, many of you know I was one of 2 children. I'm the younger of the 2. My parents divorced when I was young, and I used to always, always, always try to get my mom to adopt. And the very last, in Chicago, when I was growing up, in the newspaper, they used to have an ad on Wednesdays called Wednesday's Child, and they would highlight children that were available for adoption. And the last children I asked her for, and it's actually in my high school scrapbook, was a set of 3 siblings. It was a boy and his twin sisters. And I believe he was about 6 or 7, and they were like 4. And I was in love. But anyway, so as I got older, I, prayed for my children, wanted twins, whatever. And I really don't know what draws me to twins, but I'm trying to think, 15 years ago, I was nannying for a family, and 2 of the other staff members were a married couple. And after much trial and tribulation, she got pregnant with twins, and I was just elated for her and had so much fun watching her through the pregnancy. She carried them full term, and I remember the day they came and said, "You want to know what the gender is?" And I said, "They're girls, they're girls." And they were. And I'd already started crocheting for them. I had made them each a blanket. And funny enough, they were in lavender and pink. But anyway, we had a really great friendship, their mom and I. And so when that position was moving out of state and I wasn't moving, it was a natural transition for me to become their nanny. The prior family actually paid my salary for the first few months as a gift to that family. And I ended up being their nanny for 4 years. And all the children I've nannied for have been wonderful and special, but there's something magical about twins. And I was there the day they were born, so I've known them from the time they were born. They're now 13, and I just adore them so much. And watching them grow and being there for all those milestones was such a gift to me. And even though I did not give birth to them, they are my twins. They are God's gift to me, and I have such a great relationship with them even now. Back the first week in October, I had the opportunity to go spend a week with them, and I can't even tell you how joyful it was. For those of you, I don't know if I've talked a bit about my being a nanny. I take that job so seriously, and raising a child is an awesome responsibility and should never be taken lightly. And I give my fullest to every child. I believe every child should be raised according to who they innately are. It's our responsibility as adults to understand their personality and who they are and raise them to be that person. So even twins, I parented differently. I parented them according to who they are. And I raise children to be very, very independent. I believe home is the first school. I teach them as much as I can before they start school. I'm a fan of them not going to school to kindergarten. I socialize them in other ways by going to the park and other little classes and stuff. They're very social beings. But I love to have them at home and teach them. And so from the time they're babies. I mean, even pacifiers, for example. If I have a baby who starts sucking their thumb, I do encourage a pacifier because I can throw that away. I cannot throw a thumb or finger away. I have had children I've nannied for who I've started and they've already had the finger or thumb. But I do, when they have a pacifier, when their baby's just, losing it in their sleep, I don't just stick it in their mouth. I take their hand and I kind of bat their hand around to find it and teach them to pick it up and put it back in their mouth. And yes, it does take work, but I'll tell you, after a couple of weeks, they can find their own pacifier. And it's so amazing now that you have camera monitors to watch them. And you're just like cheering for them. You see their little hand feeling around after, a few days, they realize, oh, I can find it myself. And even when I start that whole process of them finding their own pacifier, which usually just a couple months old, I mean, we're not talking a 1-year-old, I'm talking about like a 2 or 3 month old. What I do before nap time is I will, instead of reading them their story, holding them in my arms, I will lay down on the floor with them on a pillow next to me, like our heads on the pillow, and I'll put the pacifier just like right here so they can feel the nipple like touching them, and you can see their lip going for it, and then I take their hand up and teach them to push it in. And so then, anyway, so when you're watching them on a camera monitor and you just see them looking for it and then you see their hand touch it, you're so excited, and they put in this, like, you do the happy dance over the camera monitor because they've now gained independence. And once a child does something for themselves, I never, ever, 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 ever take it back and do it for them. So, for example, if I teach a 3-year-old how to tie their shoes, I will never tie their shoes again, ever. I will, if it takes them 15 minutes and I need to leave at 8 o'clock, you better bet at 7:45 they're getting their shoes on. I give them the time and the grace to do what they need to do. And I will set them up. I believe in setting people up for success, not failure. So I will, throughout the day, once they are learning to tie, I will, throw my hair up on a ponytail and grab a ribbon and say, hey, can you tie this for me? And I'll, do it just like you do your shoes. And I'll get a box and tie a ribbon, and I'll put my finger. Can you come tie this for me? And I have them practice in other ways other than shoes to get the dexterity fabulous. Anyway, so I'm saying that because when I went to see the twins in October, I don't like calling them the twins. I don't want to put their names on here though. But when I went to see them, I was amazed. They're 13. And of course at 13 you expect children to be, independent. But in this day and age, children are quite sassy and rebellious. And so they were lovely. They were an absolute joy. We do stay in touch via email and texts and phone and all kind of stuff. But, being in person is a very different story. And I walked in and I had one weekend with them. We had a couple, was it 1 or 2 days before the weekend? I can't remember if I went on a Thursday or Friday. But anyway, I want to say it was the Thursday that I went. Anyway, yeah, I got there, they were in school, and then they had school Friday. I believe it was Thursday. So anyway, they come home, they do their homework. Obviously, they need rides to their extracurricular activities. But they're so independent. They get up in the morning, they, get dressed, they pack their lunch, they make their own breakfast, they eat their breakfast, they walk themselves to school. I mean, it was just amazing. I sat there just watching the fruits of my labor, and obviously their parents have maintained it. But 4 years of building that foundation for independence, and it was just so lovely. And we would sit and discuss books they're reading. And I remember they both had a homework assignment due by a certain time on that Sunday. They do their homework electronically. And so I had asked them the first day, what their homework responsibilities were, and they were doing their stuff that was due the next day. But they both said they had a project due on Sunday, and they both told me where in the project they were at. And I said, okay, well, I need it done by this time on Sunday. And that was it. And by that time because I had made quite a bit of plans for them on the weekend of going and doing things and seeing people and stuff. And they finished at different times because they're very different personalities. One kind of cut it to the wire, but the other finished the day before, and that was okay. I never nagged them because I gave them the responsibility, and they were raised that way to be entrusted with responsibility. And so they both got their homework done. I mean, they were just amazing. And even the other day we were talking on the phone, and I asked what book they're reading for school, and they're reading A Tale of Two Cities. And, ladies, that's the book in literature that I just struggled with. I did not like that book. So they don't like it either. So we were discussing all the different things it's very similar, the things we didn't like in it. And so I asked them what they're reading next, and they're reading Huckleberry Finn, and I'm like, oh, that book you're going to love. I'm not going to tell you anything, but you're going to love that so much better than Tale of Two Cities. So they're just so lovely. We do discuss books a lot. They're very avid readers, as am I. And so it's so fun now that they're 13 and reading, more adult content books and discussing them with them and recommending books for them. But every minute that I had with them in October was a gift to me. And while God did not give me twins that came from me, I don't believe a child has to come from me to love them as much as if they did. And those girls are just, I can't even tell you what they mean to me. And so painting these kits, I started painting them on February 8th on purpose because it's the real twins' mom's birthday. It was a tribute to her and me and our relationship. She's like a sister I never had. Again, another answer to prayer. And so painting them was such a magical journey for me. I know I've been kind of out of the loop, and I just kind of didn't do a lot of Skyping and talking on the phone when I was working on them because I really wanted to enjoy the journey and just thank God, even though He did not allow me to parent twins of my own and raise them to full adulthood, He gifted me with those twins and allowed me not only to be there for the first 4 years of their life, but beyond that, guiding their mother and giving her advice even to this day and staying in their lives. I really hope they can come here this summer. They would come in Ohio, and I really hope they'll come here to Texas. I just adore them so very much. And so painting these babies was a huge healing for me because I had come to terms with the fact, obviously I'm not going to have children, but I'm just so thankful God blessed me with those girls and allowing me to be a part of their lives and answering that prayer differently than I had prayed and differently than I wanted, but yet he answered me. And it was a yes. I got twins. I got to be a part of twins' lives, and I still am a part of their lives. And so I know I'll paint these babies again, but these two, kind of are the beginning of that twin journey, and I absolutely loved every minute of painting them. And I think I had mentioned recently that I had Harper and Tate and I was going to paint them as twins, but I'm not going to. I actually was really upset with myself for missing out on the pre-order of Maisie, and somebody on Facebook posted that they were looking to trade a Maisie for a Harper. And since I've already painted a Harper, I've decided to trade her for Maisie. So Tate will be a singleton, and as will Maisie. But anyway, so I'm going to be posting that to her today, and she'll be posting Maisie to me. So I'll do a kit review of Maisie when she gets here. But anyway, I just wanted to share a little bit of why I love twins so much. They're amazing to watch. Again, I raised them to be very independent, individual children, and every baby who I have taken care of that I've gotten at birth. Now, every journey is fabulous to watch, but getting them at birth and watching them formulate and navigate their personality from such a young age is absolutely amazing. And I've never not marveled at a child getting a new skill. Like every baby, when they learn to sit up or roll or crawl or talk, has amazed me, because every baby's journey is different and they all do it differently. And even the twins that I nannied for, one of them was a trier and one was a doer. For example, babies get up on their hands and knees and kind of rock sometimes before they crawl. One did that, the other one crawled across the room. Same thing, one kind of toddled around the furniture. Her sister stood up and walked across the room and stepped over toys and didn't fall. And they're still that way. And it's very funny because, excuse me, the one that's the doer was born first, and she was born with forceps. She was not ready. They plucked that baby out, and she kind of had some angst about that for a while. And her sister was born breech. And so it's so fascinating to me, because that really is how they approach life. One is not really ready, but when she's ready, she dives in head first. And her sister kind of puts her toe in the water, takes her time, but then she succeeds. So that is still their approach. So I find it fascinating that they were born in the way that their personality is. And so neither is better than the other. They both get there in the end. They just, see things differently and approach things in such a very different, fascinating way. So for me, it was such an amazing experience to watch children of the exact same age, because all prior to that, I had seen it in a variety of different children, their approach, but not at the same time. So to see it at the same time was just fascinating. They never had their own little twin language. I don't baby talk. I talk to children just like I'm talking to you. And typically by the time they are, just over a year, they're conversant as I am talking right now. My youngest talker spoke at 9 months, and by 1, she was talking like I am right now. But for the most part, most of them, several children I've nannied for, have learned multiple languages, so they have been a little delayed in the language department, but typically by 18 months they're conversant in 2 or 3 languages as I'm talking to you right now. I believe in surrounding them with language. I talk all day to them about everything and anything. And I do, sometimes my voice will change. You've heard me in some of my videos how I say things in odd ways. But I don't use baby words. They get all the same words. I believe in using very large words to children. And so it's so fun when you hear this tiny little baby use quite large language and in the right context. But anyway, they shared a room for many years, and it was so fun because their cribs were across from each other. They had a long, narrow bedroom when they were babies for the first couple of years before they moved. And their cribs were side by side with a bookshelf between. So there was maybe about 4 feet, 3.5 feet between the 2 cribs, because the bookshelf was quite snug. And so I used to put, from the time they were born, I would put a little blanket over the edge of the crib. And they wouldn't take them down till morning. They weren't naughty. They didn't talk in the night. They would like talk to themselves, but in the morning they'd rip them down and, get on their knees and talk to each other, which was so sweet. But they were such good girls at night. Anyway, I just adore them so very much. So, that's a little bit of why twins mean so much to me. And again, I'm not sure why I wanted to parent twins, but I did. It was just a desire that was in me, and God did bless me with those girls. And so that is kind of why my heavenlies will one day be my twins, although I might have to have a set of these as well. And I'm very excited. Thank you so very much, Nana, for doing a side-by-side of your Sophia and your heavenly, because, again, for some reason, I was imagining my heavenly kids as much smaller babies, kind of like I thought these twins would be. As I mentioned in the last video, I was very pleasantly surprised by their size. And the heavenly is very similarly sized. So I was excited to paint them, but now I'm even more excited to paint them. I'm trying to get my tripod turned here so I can put y'all on there, because I do want to show y'all a little bit of how they're... Let me see if I can... Oh, sorry, ladies. Gentlemen. I always forget the gentlemen. I do apologize. I don't want them to feel left out. I kind of want to show y'all... I don't want to get in the picture, though. I want to show you that they're... Oh, sorry, ladies. My thing spun down. I hope that didn't, like... There, let me lock it again. I don't really want to be in it, but I want you to see that they're just so lovely. They're just like... Oh, they're weighted so nice and floppy and... Oh. Anyway, there they are, ladies. I don't want to mess up her little outfit, though. That hand has to be prominent. I love that hand. So anyway, ladies, thank you so very much for allowing me to share a little bit of my journey with the twins with you. And again, their photo shoot in the event you missed the last video. I am waiting for one more outfit that I ordered for them. And once that's here and I have some sun, I will do their photo shoot. So I'm hoping... I ordered it last... I want to say, was it Friday or Saturday? I finally... You have no idea how many hours, ladies, I spent... There I go again. Everyone. I spent looking for pajamas for them. I really wanted to do the pink and lavender theme. I couldn't find lavender pajamas that I liked anywhere. There's pink everywhere. And it was also important to me that their feet stay out. I love their feet. So I looked high and low, and I finally decided to scrap the color and just find something I love. So anyway, I finally ordered something, and it said 4 days because it's coming from Europe. So, and no, it's not next. So anyway, I'm waiting for their jammies. Then they have the other little outfits I made them, which I will put them in one day and have them in a video. And so anyway, I will get them together for a photo shoot, hopefully in the next few days, and then they will be up. So thank you so very much, everybody. Have a fabulous day today. Oh, again, I have not been making videos. I did do Connie's box packing last week. Last weekend, well, not 2 days, not yesterday, but the week before, we were out of town. We went to see some friends in Houston, and it was so nice to be surrounded by Kenyans and, eating with your hands, African food, and we had so much fun together. And I am a very schedule-orientated person, as y'all know, and I have certain things I do on certain days in my house, and so I lost a couple days. So Monday and Tuesday I had to catch up from the weekend, and then the rest of the time doing my regular stuff, but also finishing up these outfits. They were quite the production, let's say, but well worth it in my opinion. I had a vision for them, and I'm happy it came to fruition. So that is why I have not been making videos. Just been kind of busy. So anyway, everybody, I did say I was going to do some shout outs for some new channels, so I'll try to do that this week because there are some new channels I have found that I would like to shout out. There's some lovely, lovely new people in the community that I want to help direct some of you to in the event that you have not found them. But anyway, everybody, I hope you have a blessed day today and stay safe. And if you're where it's cold, stay warm. And if you're where it's hot, stay cool. And just have a blessed day. Thank you so very much. Hugs and blessings. Bye-bye.